Your eyes are the one part of your body almost everybody has quietly written off. The knees, the heart, the blood pressure. People fight for those. The eyes, most folks just assume they wear out. You get thicker glasses every couple of years, and one day the vision goes, and there was never anything you could have done about it. That is not true. And after 20-plus years of sending patients across the hall to the retina clinic, I can tell you the part nobody sat you down and explained. The tissue at the back of your eye that actually fails first is fed by what you eat. It is one of the hungriest patches of tissue in your whole body, and it does most of its repair work at night while you sleep. So the fruit you eat in the evening is not a gimmick. It is raw material arriving right before the night shift starts. I'm Dr. William Lee. I'm an internal medicine specialist, and today I'm giving you the short list. Not one magic fruit, the handful that are actually worth reaching for in the evening. And I'm going to score every single one of them against the 3 jobs a food has to do for aging eyes. Some of the famous ones barely earn their spot, and one of the best of them most people don't even think of as a fruit. And look, your eyes are exactly the kind of thing my patients ask me about between the blood pressure check and the door. So I took everything I tell my own patients and put it into one simple plan for living longer, stronger, and healthier after 60. 28 of the things that actually change as you get older. Your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your memory, your balance, and those are only some of them. Thousands of people are already using it to take back their health. It's already helped so many of them live their best life after 60. The link is on your screen right now, so go check it out at dronmyers.com. And I'll drop that same link down in the description below, so it's right there whenever you're ready. All right, let's start with what is actually breaking back there, because once you understand it, the fruit list writes itself. At the very center of the back of your eye is a spot about the size of this letter O. It is called the macula, and it is the part you read with, drive with, recognize a face with. Everything sharp you see comes from that one tiny patch. Sitting on top of that patch is a layer of yellow pigment. That pigment is your eye's own built-in filter. It soaks up the harshest, highest energy light before that light can cook the cells underneath. And it mops up the chemical damage that light leaves behind. Here is the catch. That pigment is made of exactly 2 nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin. And your body cannot manufacture either one of them, not a molecule. Every bit of that filter is built from food you ate. Eat too little for too long and the filter thins out. The light gets through and the cells underneath start to die. That is the beginning of macular degeneration. And macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. And I want you to understand why this tissue, of all the tissue in your body, is so dependent on what you had for dinner. The cells that catch light for you, the photoreceptors, are the most energy-hungry cells you own, gram for gram. They run flat out all day catching photons, and that generates a constant stream of chemical wear, what we call oxidative stress. To keep up, the very tips of those cells get worn down and rebuilt a little every single day on a schedule tied to light and dark. That rebuild happens largely overnight and in the early morning. So, the retina is not a passive camera sitting quietly at the back of your head. It is a factory running a night shift. And like any factory, it works with whatever supplies got delivered before the doors closed. The good news is genuinely good, and it comes from the biggest study we have. In 2013, the National Eye Institute, part of the NIH, published the AEDS-2 trial. Thousands of older adults at high risk, giving them lutein and zeaxanthin, cut the rate of progression to advanced macular degeneration by about a quarter in the people who had been getting the least of it from their diet. You can measurably thicken that filter back up with food. So here are the 3 jobs every fruit today gets scored on them. Job 1, rebuild the filter, the lutein and zeaxanthin. Job 2, protect the plumbing, because your retina has the richest blood supply of any tissue in the body, and those vessels are tiny and they clog. Job 3, lower the overnight damage, the antioxidants your eye burns through while it repairs itself in the dark. Rebuild the filter, protect the plumbing, lower the damage. That is the whole video. Now, before you decide the evening timing is just a thumbnail trick, let me be straight with you. A blueberry at 2 in the afternoon still helps your eyes. It does. But evening earns its own video for 2 honest reasons. First, your retina does its heaviest housekeeping overnight. So having the raw materials on board when the night shift clocks in is not nothing. And second, 2 of the fruits on this list genuinely help you fall asleep. And sleep is when the repair happens. So, we start there. Number 1, kiwi. And I lead with this one because it does something none of the others do. A kiwi is one of the most vitamin C dense fruits you can buy, more per bite than an orange, and it carries a useful dose of lutein alongside it. And vitamin C is not just a cold remedy for your eyes. It is concentrated inside the eye at levels many times higher than in your blood because the fluid bathing your lens leans on it to fight off the daily oxidation that clouds a lens into a cataract. So kiwi covers jobs 1 and 3 on its own, the filter and the damage. But the reason it goes first is sleep. Researchers at Taipei Medical University ran a study where people ate 2 kiwis about an hour before bed for 4 weeks. Their time to fall asleep dropped by roughly 1/3, and they stayed asleep longer. Kiwi carries its own serotonin, the raw material your brain uses to wind down. So, a fruit that hands your eyes vitamin C and lutein, and then helps you get the deep sleep your retina repairs itself in. That is the whole reason this channel put "before bed" in the title. 2 kiwis about an hour before you turn in. Number 2, oranges and citrus in general. And this is the one with the hardest number behind it. Everybody knows oranges have vitamin C. Fewer people know the real payload is a group of compounds called flavonoids, which do job 2. They protect and calm the tiny vessels feeding the retina. In Australia, the Westmead Institute ran what's called the Blue Mountains Eye Study, following people for 15 years. The people eating at least 1 orange a day had roughly 60% lower odds of developing latest stage macular degeneration compared to people who never ate them. 15 years of follow-up. That is not a lab dish, and it is not a mouse. That is thousands of ordinary people tracked with their own eyes over a decade and a half. 1 orange. Not juice, though, and I mean that. Juice strips the fiber and spikes your blood sugar, and high blood sugar is its own slow poison to those retinal vessels, especially if you're diabetic. Eat the actual orange, a mandarin, a navel, whatever is in the bowl. In the evening, it's a clean, low-effort win. Number 3, blueberries and the dark berries, generally blackberries, black raspberries. What makes them dark is a pigment called anthocyanin, and anthocyanins are strong antioxidants that concentrate the protection right where job 2 and job 3 overlap, the small vessels and the oxidative load. Now I have to clear something up because you have probably heard the story that British pilots in the war ate bilberry jam and it gave them superhuman night vision. That story was wartime propaganda cover for radar. And when they finally tested bilberry on night vision directly, it did nothing. So no, a handful of blueberries will not turn you into a night owl. What the real evidence supports is quieter and more useful, steady antioxidant support for the plumbing at the back of the eye. A small handful in the evening, fresh or frozen is just as good and a lot cheaper. Quick pause because we're right about halfway, and this is the one favor I'll ask. If a channel finally explaining the mechanism instead of just handing you a list is worth something to you, subscribe and leave me a comment telling me your age and whether anyone in your family has had macular trouble. It genuinely tells me what to cover next, and I read everyone. Anyway, number 4, avocado. And this is the one most people don't even file under fruit. It is a fruit, and for your eyes, it might be the smartest one on the list for a reason that has nothing to do with how much lutein it contains. Lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble. That means they cannot get absorbed and carried up to your macula without fat riding along with them. You can eat a giant salad full of lutein and pass most of it straight through if there's no fat in the meal. Avocado solves both halves at once. It brings its own lutein, and it brings the healthy fat to fry it in. Researchers publishing in the journal Nutrients in 2017 had older adults eat one avocado a day for 6 months, and they measured the pigment in the eye actually thickening. That is job one, done and measured. Half an avocado in the evening. And here's the bonus. Mash it with tomato, and it pulls even more lutein into your body from the meal. Number 5, goji berries. The little red ones sometimes sold dried as wolfberries. If job one is rebuilding the filter, goji is the specialist. Of all the common fruits, goji berries are one of the richest sources of zeaxanthin specifically. And zeaxanthin is the half of that pigment pair that sits at the dead center of your macula, the sharpest point of your vision. This isn't folklore either. A team at the University of California, Davis, had healthy older adults eat about a small handful of goji berries 5 times a week for 90 days, and the pigment density in their maculas went up in a real trial with a real measurement. A tablespoon of the dried ones tossed on yogurt or eaten straight does the job. Number 6, mango. And this one closes the loop back to the night. Mango brings zeaxanthin like goji, but its headline nutrient is beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A. And vitamin A is not optional for your eyes. It is the exact molecule your retina rebuilds every night to let you see in low light. The pigment that lets your eye work in a dim room. Rhodopsin gets used up and remade constantly, and it's built from vitamin A. Run short, and the first thing you lose is night vision. Trouble seeing when you get up in the dark? Headlights smearing on the evening drive. Mango refills the tank. The one caution, mango is sweet, so if you're diabetic, keep it to a few slices and pair it with something. Don't make it a whole bowl before bed. Now, let me tell you about someone, because this is where it stops being a nutrient list and starts being a person. I'll call her Eleanor, 66, a gardener, the kind of woman whose whole life is built around being able to see the fine work, the seedlings, her grandchildren's faces. Her eye doctor found early dry macular degeneration, the Duzen, those little yellow deposits that are the first morning, and told her what most people get told: we'll watch it, come back in a year. Which left her lying awake doing exactly the math you do. Is this the year it starts, or the one after? She didn't have some exotic protocol, and she didn't spend a fortune. She front-loaded her evenings with almost this exact list: the avocado, the kiwi, the goji on the yogurt, the orange in the bowl. And she got serious about sleep because she finally understood that the sleep was when the repair happened. She did it every night, not most nights. That part matters because this tissue rebuilds a little each night. So it responds to what you do consistently, not to one good week. When she went back, her retinal specialist told her the macular pigment looked better than the year before, and the Duzen hadn't advanced. I want to be honest with you about what that means because I won't oversell it. It did not reverse. Early macular degeneration doesn't unhap. What it did was stop moving, and 2 years on, it has held. For a disease whose whole nature is to creep forward, holding still is a win. That is the realistic promise here. Not new eyes, but slowing down the clock. And that right there, what Eleanor did, is one page out of a much bigger book. Everything I just walked you through for your eyes is one of the 28 areas in the plan I mentioned. If today made sense to you, the whole thing is worked through exactly like this. And the link is down in the description, and I pinned it right at the top of the comments so you don't have to hunt for it. No pressure, no rush. It's just there whenever you want it. Before we get to what to do tonight, one hard line I need to draw because food is for the slow, quiet decline. And there is a fast version that is an emergency. Do this right now. Look at a door frame or a window frame, one straight edge, and close one eye. Then look at it with the other. If that straight line looks bent, wavy, or like there's a smudge or a dark spot in the middle of it, that is not something you fix with fruit. Wavy straight lines can mean the wet form of macular degeneration, where new vessels leak behind the retina, and that one is measured in days. Same with a sudden shower of new floaters, flashes of light, or a curtain or shadow coming across your vision. Those mean call the eye doctor now, today, not next year. The fruit is for protecting good tissue and slowing an early, dry, gradual problem. It is not for an emergency, and I never want it standing between you and a phone call you should be making. All right, what to do tonight? 1. If you only add one thing, make it 2 kiwis about an hour before bed. Vitamin C, lutein, and better sleep in one move. 2. Half an avocado in the evening because without that fat, you're wasting most of the lutein you eat. 3. Keep goji berries and dark blueberries in the house. A tablespoon of goji or a small handful of berries for the pigment and the plumbing. 4. An actual orange in the bowl, the whole fruit, not the juice. 5. Do the straight line test tonight, and if the line is wavy, you skip the grocery store and you call the eye doctor. None of this is expensive, none of it is exotic, and all of it is feeding the one tissue everybody told you there was nothing you could do about. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, honest explanations of what actually works after 60, hit subscribe, give this one a like, and tell me in the comments what you want me to look into next. I'm Dr. John Myers. Look after yourself, and I'll see you.